Greetings. Today, of course, we still have to talk about Genocide Joe Biden and the Democrats. I am genuinely looking forward to the day when they are no longer a topic, um, no longer something that is making news. We can go back to talking about the genocide in Palestine, the proxy war in Ukraine, NATO expansion, uh, what's going on in other parts of the world. But today's not that day because what's going on with the Democrats is wild. It is insane. They're falling apart. They're disintegrating. Uh, at this point, they're just a bunch of assholes running around with their hair on fire. So, with a presidential election just a few months away, kind of got to talk about it. And I think what really makes this so crazy, you've got several different stories all being spun at the same time. You've got it's more than 30 now Democrats in Congress, including an additional dozen just this past Friday, saying Biden needs to drop out. He can't win. He's barely coherent at the best of times. He needs to drop out. And who can blame them? And I'm sure that these 30 some Democrats who have come out and said publicly that Biden needs to go away are just the tip of the iceberg. I have no doubt in my mind there are many more who feel the same way, but for political expediency, or maybe it's just cowardice, uh, don't want to come out and say it publicly. But but they're there, and they're saying it to each other in private. And so on top of that, you've got all the rumors and uh, the unnamed sources that are coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, he's definitely going to drop out. Could happen this weekend. Could happen Sunday." Um, of course, nobody would go on the record as being the one um, revealing this information, but it was multiple sources from what I can tell, and sources placed close enough to the president or the president's team that they should know what they were talking about. If you believe um, what's being said about them. Since they're unnamed sources, you can never really tell whether they're who they're being portrayed to be. But I mean, it makes sense. It would be the smart thing to do. It would be the best thing that Biden could do for the country. So, yeah, sure. Sounds reasonable, right? Well, don't celebrate just yet, because now the word coming out of Team Biden and Biden himself is that no, actually, fuck you, I'm not going anywhere. I'm in this till the end. We're going to keep fighting and we're going to win. Uh, Even though everybody in the entire world knows that is complete and utter nonsense. I mean, he could insist on staying in, I guess. Um, the Democrats may or may not be able to pull some kind of procedural sleight of hand and get rid of him that way. But he could technically decide that he's not going to step down. He's not going to drop out. And what are they going to do? But as far as winning, no. Joe, Joe, Joe. That's not going to happen. That was an open, serious question before the debate, where your dementia was put on full display and nobody could deny it anymore. Since then, there is no question. You cannot win. Sorry. Somebody needs to sit you down and say that to you in a way that makes you believe it, because it's the truth. You can't win. So, what are you going to do? But that is, I mean, to call it a mess, to call it a clusterfuck, to call it confusion or chaos is understating it. The Democrats have an actual crisis on their hands, and dare I say, an existential threat to their existence as a political party. An actual existential threat. They have loved saying those words about somebody else. You know who I'm talking about. But do they actually know what they mean? Because it didn't seem like it then, and it would really come in handy now if they could recognize a genuine, imminent, existential threat to their existence as a viable political party in the USA. Because that's where they are. That's what they're facing. The insistence on coddling and propping up and lying on behalf of somebody who we've all seen, we've all known is in cognitive decline for years, to still be letting him just drag the party down like this, to be making excuses for it, is insane. I mean, I don't care about the Democrats or the Republicans. As far as I'm concerned, they're same team. They just wear two different colored hats. But I presume that since they have structured our politics to literally rely on that dichotomy, that fake red versus blue choice, that they actually need both of those hat wearers. Doesn't do blue much good. They don't have a red to pretend to oppose, and vice versa. So why are the Democrats apparently hell-bent on destroying themselves? And why are the Republicans letting it happen? I mean, I don't know. It is unfathomable to me what they could possibly think they gain by playing these stupid games. What in the world could the the shot callers, the the people who make the decisions about how the party, uh, is run, is structured. What could they possibly be trying to gain out of the way this whole thing is being handled? Because I'm not seeing it. There is no upside. There is only downside. they're they're setting their house on fire and they're just sitting there inside the house pretending that nothing's wrong. They're literally a cartoon. They're literally a meme. This is fine. Everything's fine. But it's not. It is demonstrably, objectively, obviously not fine. Not fine in any way. So what are the Democrats doing? I wish somebody could explain to me what their end goal is. Because as far as I can tell, there is no plan. There is no strategy. There is no outline or bullet points or any structure to this whatsoever. It's just everybody out for themselves. They're just, I don't know, they're trying to make as nice of a nest for themselves in whatever comes after that they can manage. Whether that's a career or, a nice little offshore nest egg or whatever the case may be. They're not thinking about today or even tomorrow. They're thinking about where, what their situation is going to be in, say, 4 or 5 years. And that's not helping them fix any of this crap. They've got to set that crap aside and come together as a party, presuming it is one, and not just a collection of greedy psychopaths with a few common interests, which it may well be. That's maybe what we're seeing. The Democrats being exposed as merely a bunch of greedy psychopaths who sort of kind of banded together to bilk people as a group effort because it's just more efficient that way. Maybe that's what this is. Maybe that's why they're falling apart. There is no actual party. There's just a bunch of assholes. And now they're fighting amongst themselves because the scam is falling apart. Could be it. Certainly fits. But what'll happen next, who knows? They can't count on Trump to beat himself. I wasn't particularly impressed with his convention speech. It was just a Trump speech, like all the other Trump speeches. It was very self-serving and self-centered. An hour and a half of, hey, look at me, a typical Trump speech. He's not going to say or do something, I don't think. He shouldn't. If he has any common sense at all, and I'm not saying he does or he doesn't, but if he has any common sense, he will avoid being too outlandish, too bombastic. All he has to do now is coast. He can coast to a win. As long as he doesn't do anything too fucking crazy, he's in. He's in the White House again. So the Democrats shouldn't count on him tripping over his own dick. Um, I'm sure the people around him are working really hard to keep that from happening. And the assassination attempt, uh, I mean, it's not a good thing. I don't even think it can be described as fortuitous for Trump. I mean, that was bad. That was very bad only, and no matter how you look at it. But it did um, give him an advantage that the Democrats aren't going to be able to counter. There's nothing they can do or say about that won't make their position worse, especially because of the rhetoric they used leading up to that point. The existential threat. He's Hitler. He's going to be a dictator. He's in Putin's pocket. Uh, all of the stuff that they said nonstop leading up to the assassination attempt make it impossible for them to continue the campaign they've been running. Full stop. They just can't. That would only make things worse for them, for the country. So they can't do it. They're screwed. They're probably screwed no matter who is at the top of the ticket. Let's face it. But with Biden at the top of the ticket all the way through to November, they're not only screwed in this election, they're screwed generally speaking. That's going to be a stain on the party that's not going to come off for at least a generation. So, I don't know. Y'all do whatever you want. I don't vote for Democrats and Republicans, so y'all work this out amongst yourselves, and I will observe and comment, but I don't really have a dog in that fight. I will be voting for somebody other than a duopoly candidate, as usual. So, I don't know. Wish y'all would figure it out, though. Really, really, really tired of this nonsense. Um, you're making everybody in this country look bad. I mean, even worse than before. Our so-called leaders already gave the world a horrible impression of Americans, generally speaking. But now, uh, now it's just embarrassing to be an American. Um, I just I want to put up a big sign where everybody in the entire world can see it that says, "This is not my circus. These are not my monkeys. I had nothing to do with it. Don't associate me with these jackasses." Uh, so y'all, please get your mess sorted. Um, it would be lovely to be able to talk about something else for a change. So y'all have a good one. Catch you next time.